Sam Raimi was born on October 29, 1959 in Royal Oak, Michigan. He's an American film and television director, producer, and screenwriter whose inventive camera techniques that brings life into the horror genre. Raimi began experimenting with filmmaking at a very early age. By his teen years, he was already an active member of a circle of amateur actors and directors in the Detroit area. Among this group were his brother Ted and aspiring actor Bruce Campbell, both of whom became staples in Raimi's productions. In 1977, Raimi enrolled at Michigan State University, where he produced the 8mm films The Happy Valley Kid of 1977 and His Murder in 1977 as well. These modest efforts provided valuable experience for Raimi and his associates and their next project, the short film Within the Woods of 1978. This film served as a test reel for what is arguably Raimi's most famous work, including The Evil Dead of 1981. Although his low-budget origins were apparent and his level of gore bordered on the cartoonish, The Evil Dead became one of the most influential horror films of all time, in Raimi's use of a handheld camera technique that was intended to replicate the point of view of a given character or object was widely emulated. Sam Raimi's films consist of characters who are unable to find their true identity, which can be found in Spider-Man, Oz the Great and Powerful, and The Love of the Game. Spider-Man, also known as Peter Parker, is bitten by a genetically revamped spider and has Superman powers and has the ability to grasp objects with his webs. He uses these powers to fight crime in New York City and finally grasps his Uncle Ben saying, "With great power comes great responsibility." This film revolves around Spider-Man's character, his willingness to be able to fight crime and hide his identity at the same time. In Raimi's Oz the Great and Powerful, a circus magician is thrown into a tornado escaping Kansas in a hot air balloon. Oscar Diggs, the protagonist of this film, arrives to the land of Oz. He encounters 3 witches who rule Oz, and he must figure out which witch is good and evil before everything becomes a disaster. For Love of the Game is Raimi's film from 1999. 40-year-old pitcher Billy Chappell is beyond his prime days of his baseball career, and his old skills can't keep up with the fast-growing pace of the game. When he's on the mound for his one last dance, all his focus is on his relationship, which is deteriorating as his baseball career comes to an end. In all of Sam Raimi's films, every protagonist has the desire to search for meaning, but the result leads to a loss of hope. Sam Raimi has very unique auteurist tropes, but the one that stands out in the 3 films is dysfunctional families. In the film Oz the Great and Powerful, Oscar escapes the circus he works at by flying in a hot air balloon because he is accused of fraud at one of his magic shows. The audience that he performs to is his family because those are the people he has to satisfy his magic tricks to. This is also seen in Raimi's Spider-Man, such that Peter Parker had a small altercation with Uncle Ben in his car before Uncle Ben's death. Peter Parker searches out at night to fight crime so nobody loses their love like Parker did with his uncle. Sam Raimi uses the same cast in most of his films. His high interest in James Franco saw him play parts in Spider-Man and earning the starring role in the film Oz the Great and Powerful. Harry Osborn, played by James Franco in the Spider-Man trilogy, is the antagonist to Peter Parker, to which Osborn seeks revenge on Parker for killing his father. Although this role is totally different to Franco's role in Oz the Great and Powerful, as James Franco plays the protagonist. Sam Raimi is not afraid to play actors in roles that they're unfamiliar with. Sam Raimi loves to apply the laws of humanity in his films. Peter Parker is obviously an adrenaline junkie, such as Sergeant William James in Catherine Bigelow's film The Hurt Locker. Spider-Man loves to go out and fight crime and save everybody, but is unable to because of his loss of powers. This is similar to William James being unable to do a simple job such as choosing a cereal box. Spider-Man is willing to go towards the threat as civilians are running away from it. This is comparable to Alfred Hitchcock's Bomb Theory. Outside of his Superman life, Parker is unable to adjust to his regular life because he can't function around his aunt. He is unable to remember and perform simple duties, in which case he malfunctions when Mary Jane breaks up with him. This film is comparable to Bigelow's film The Hurt Locker, in which William James is constantly at war and can't function in normal society when he returns home to his family. Sam Raimi's films are intellectual, rational, emotional, and sensual. Parker believes if there was someone always out there watching civilians, his uncle's death wouldn't have happened. Through Parker's eyes, he wants everyone to feel safe in New York and live a life with no danger. In this fight of crime, he is introduced to a girl who he is attracted to, which brings a sensual aspect of Raimi. Parker loves Mary Jane, in which she's the only one who knows of Parker's secret abilities. Raimi is able to balance the sensual and intellectual parts of the film so the audience can compare the life of Peter Parker when he is hiding his identity to New York and being free with Mary Jane. Last but not least, Sam Raimi's films are unexpected, so anything can happen. From a smooth and calm environment of Billy Chappell on the mound can quickly change to a dark and exciting setting of Oscar flying through a tornado in a hot air balloon, ending up in a place that is least expected. Raimi is able to fill the air with suspense and introduce the viewer as a character, which makes Raimi's films very unique.